When it comes to the most advanced jet engine flying today, what pops into your mind? Maybe something from the SR-71 Blackbird, or perhaps the engine behind the F-22 Raptor. You're close, but the real answer, it's the Pratt Whitney F135 engine powering the F-35 Lightning II. This isn't just any engine. This is the most advanced fighter engine in the sky right now. And what makes it special goes way beyond raw power. It's about stealth, survivability, and some seriously next-level tech. So buckle up, we are about to break down how this engine is completely changing modern air combat. The F-35 isn't just another stealth jet. It's a fifth-generation multi-role beast built to rule the air, land, and sea. But none of that happens without its incredible engine. At the center of all this awesomeness is the F135, an afterburning turbofan designed by Pratt Whitney. The engineers didn't start from scratch. They took the already amazing F119 engine from the F-22 Raptor and leveled it up for a whole new era of flight. Let's talk power for a second. This engine delivers up to 43,000 pounds of thrust when the afterburner kicks in. Just to put that in perspective, that's enough push to launch a school bus into the sky. This massive power drives the F-35 past Mach 1.6. That's over 1,200 miles per hour while still keeping it invisible to radar. What's really cool isn't just the raw power. It's how that power gets delivered, controlled, hidden, adaptable. The F-135 doesn't just make the F-35 go fast. It makes it go fast without announcing itself to the entire world. In normal flight mode without afterburner, the engine still puts out around 28,000 pounds of thrust. That's more than enough for regular flying and cruising. But when it's time to punch it and go supersonic, that's when the afterburner lights up and nearly doubles the power output. The core of the F-135 works like any jet engine. It sucks in air, squeezes it tight, mixes it with fuel, burns it, and pushes it out the back. But the way it does this is anything but ordinary. Every part of this engine has been designed to maximize power while minimizing its footprint, both physical and detectable. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The F-135 comes in two main flavors but powers three different versions of the F-35. And each one uses the engine in a completely different way. First up, we have the F-135 PW100. This bad boy powers both the F-35A and the F-35C. The A model is used for conventional takeoffs from regular air bases, while the C model launches from aircraft carriers. Both need serious power for these takeoffs, and the F-135 PW100 delivers with reliable thrust and acceleration. But the real magic trick, that's in the F-35B. This version uses the F-135 PW600 engine, which includes some extra special gear. A vertical lift fan, a 3-bearing swivel nozzle, and roll posts on the wing. All this fancy equipment lets the jet hover like a helicopter and take off from tiny spaces like small ships or damaged runways. Let's break down how this hover system actually works because it's seriously cool. During hover mode, the lift fan behind the cockpit pulls in air vertically from above. At the same time, the main engine nozzle at the back swivels downward to push thrust straight to the ground. Meanwhile, 2 roll posts on the wings help keep everything balanced. It's like a perfectly coordinated dance of machinery, all powered and controlled by one engine. The lift fan is connected to the main engine by a drive shaft, so it's actually the F-135 engine that powers everything. When the pilot wants to hover, a door opens on top of the aircraft, the lift fan starts spinning, and the rear nozzle swivels downward. This splits the thrust between the front and back, letting the aircraft hang in midair. This system gives the F-35B something special that almost no other fighter jet in the world has: the ability to land on small ships, take off from short runways, or even set down in areas where no runway exists at all. And all this comes from smart engineering of the engine system. The crazy part, despite all these differences, the core engine is almost identical across all 3 versions. It's the extras around it that change. That's some serious bang for your buck when you're building thousands of these fighters. Before we get into the stealth tech that makes this engine a nightmare for enemy radar, hit that subscribe button. Let's see what makes the F-135 a ghost in the sky. The F-135 isn't just about raw speed. It's designed to disappear. What good is a stealth fighter if its engine gives it away? The engineers at Pratt Whitney had to solve this problem from day one. Let's start with the engine shape. Everything from the air intake to the exhaust nozzle has been shaped to reduce radar reflection. The materials used also absorb radar instead of bouncing it back. But stealth isn't just about radar, it's about heat too. When you're pushing out 43,000 pounds of thrust, you're also pushing out a lot of heat. That's a problem because heat-seeking missiles love hot jet engines. The F-135 tackles this with special cooling systems and an exhaust design that quickly mixes hot engine air with cooler outside air. The faster this mixing happens, the less visible the heat signature becomes to enemy sensors. The nozzle itself is another piece of stealth tech. It's not round like on older jets. It's flat and wide. This shape helps scatter radar signals and spread out heat faster. The edges of the nozzle also have a sawtooth pattern that breaks up both the radar returns and the infrared signature. Now, let's talk about cooling because this is super important. The F-35 is basically a flying computer with weapons. All those electronics, sensors, and systems generate tons of heat. Add to that the massive heat from the engine itself, and you've got a potential problem. The F-135 doesn't just manage its temperature, it helps cool the entire aircraft. The engine has a sophisticated thermal management system that pulls heat away from critical components. This extra cooling job is something most fighter engines don't have to worry about, but the F-135 handles it while still keeping the jet's heat signature low. Another advanced feature is the engine control system. Pilots don't need to manage the engine like in older jets. The F-135 pretty much runs itself. The full authority digital engine control constantly adjusts fuel flow, air pressure, and temperature based on altitude, outside temperature, flight conditions, and mission type. This smart system means pilot can focus on fighting instead of babysitting the engine. It's like having a super smart assistant taking care of the power plant while you handle the important stuff. The system even protects the engine from damage if the pilot pushes it too hard. One more cool tech feature. The F-135 has advanced health monitoring. Hundreds of sensors throughout the engine constantly check temperatures, pressures, vibrations, and more. This data goes to maintenance crews who can spot problems before they cause failures. It's like having a doctor constantly checking your pulse, but for an engine. Now that we understand the tech, let's talk about how the F-135 engine performs in the real world. The F-135 has powered F-35s for over 1 million flight hours. That's not just testing, that's actual operational flying across 48 bases around the world. These engines are trusted by more than 10 different countries from the United States to Japan, Norway to Israel. The conditions these engines face couldn't be more different. We are talking about everything from Arctic patrols over Alaska and Norway, where temperatures drop well below freezing, to desert operations in the Middle East with sand and heat that would destroy lesser engines. The F-135 handles it all. Then there are carrier operations for the F-35C variant. Landing on an aircraft carrier is one of the most demanding things a fighter jet can do. The constant salty sea air, the violent landings, the need for instant power if you need to avoid a landing, the F-135 deals with all of it without breaking a sweat. But what's really impressive is how the engine enables mission flexibility. Air superiority missions where the F-35 fights other aircraft. The F-135 delivers the acceleration and speed to dominate. Close air support, where the jet helps troops on the ground. The engine provides the control and endurance needed. Electronic warfare, reconnaissance, deep strikes. The F-135 makes it all possible by giving pilots the right performance at exactly the right time. Let's talk about reliability for a second. In military aviation, an engine failure can mean losing not just an expensive aircraft, but potentially the pilot too. The F-135 has one of the best safety records of any fighter engine with extremely rare in-flight shutdowns. That's incredible reliability considering how complex this engine is and how hard pilots push it. The F-135 has even seen combat already. F-35s have flown combat missions in the Middle East with engines performing flawlessly under real-world combat conditions. When lives are on the line, the F-135 delivers. Another important real-world factor is maintenance. Fighter jet engines need lots of care, but the F-135 was designed from the start to be easier to maintain than previous engines. special access panels let mechanics get to imported parts without removing the entire engine. The modular design means parts can be swapped out quickly, and that health monitoring system we talked about earlier. It tells maintenance crews exactly what needs attention, saving countless hours of inspection time. The F-35 is constantly evolving. So is its engine. Right now, Pratt Whitney is working on something called the Engine Core Upgrade, or ECU. This isn't a complete engine replacement. It's a smart upgrade to the existing F-135 that will make it even better. The ECU will increase the engine's durability, add power margins, that's extra power available when needed, and prepare the jet for all the next-gen weapons and electronics that will be added in the coming years. All this can be done without replacing the entire engine, just upgrading the core components for better performance. These upgrades are no joke. We're talking about 10% more thrust, 50% more thermal management capacity, and 5% better fuel efficiency. In the world of fighter engines, these are massive improvements. The really smart of this approach is cost savings. Instead of developing a completely new engine, which would cost billions, the ECU improves what's already there. It's like giving your gaming PC a major hardware upgrade instead of buying a whole new computer. This saves money while still keeping the F-35 at the cutting edge. Why does this matter? Because the F-35 program is planned to continue for decades. The last F-35 might not retire until the 2070s. That's a long time to keep an engine relevant, so these upgrades paths are super important. Now, you might be wondering, why isn't everyone else doing this? Why don't other engines match what the F-135 can do? The truth is, no one else is trying to solve all these problems at once. Other engines might match the F-135 in pure thrust, but they're not doing vertical landings. They're not optimized for stealth, they're not built to power 3 completely different aircraft in one program. The Russian AL-41 engine in their Su-57 fighter can produce similar thrust, but it doesn't have to worry about powering a vertical landing system or maintaining the same level of stealth. The Chinese WS-10 engine family faces similar limitations. Only the F-135 has to excel in all these areas at once, and that's what makes it such an engineering marvel. It's not just a powerful engine, it's a powerful engine that does a dozen difficult jobs simultaneously. Let's put the F-135 head-to-head against some other top fighter engines to see how it stacks up. First, let's look at Russia's AL-41 F1S engine used in their Su-35 fighter. This is a powerful engine that produces around 31,900 pounds of thrust with afterburner. That's impressive, but still significantly less than the F-135's 43,000 pounds. The AL-41 is also much less focused on stealth with a more traditional round exhaust nozzle that doesn't hide heat signature as effectively. China's WS-10 engine family powers their J-10 and J-11 fighters. The latest versions produce around 30,000 pounds of thrust, again well short of the F-135. Chinese engines have also faced reliability issues that the F-135 doesn't have. The Eurojet EJ200, which powers the Eurofighter Typhoon, is a smaller engine producing about 20,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner. It's extremely reliable and efficient, but simply isn't in the same power class as the F-135. Even the F-135's closest relative, the F-119 engine in the F-22 Raptor, produces around 35,000 pounds of thrust. Still 8,000 pounds less than the F-135, and the F-119 doesn't have to worry about powering a vertical lift system. What about fuel efficiency? Here, the F-135 does face stiff competition. The EJ200 is extremely efficient, and even the F-135's predecessor, the F-119, has excellent fuel economy. But the F-135 still performs well considering its much higher power output and additional systems it needs to run. In terms of stealth features, only the F-119 comes close to matching the F-135's low observable characteristics. Other engines simply weren't designed with stealth as a primary requirement. The area where the F-135 truly stands alone is versatility. No other engine powers conventional, carrier, and vertical landing variations of the same aircraft. This unique capability sets the F-135 apart from everything else flying today. Maintenance requirements are another important comparison point. Russian engines typically require overhauls after much fewer flight hours than Western engines. The F-135 has demonstrated longer service intervals than most competitors, reducing the total cost of ownership over the aircraft's lifetime. Overall, while other engines excel in specific areas, none match the F-135's combination of raw power, stealth features, versatility, and reliability. It's not just about having the biggest numbers in one category. It's about delivering across all requirements simultaneously. And that's where the F-135 remains unmatched. The F-135 isn't just powering the world's most advanced fighter. It's shaping the future of air combat. From its massive thrust and stealth features to its unique ability to enable vertical landing, this engine represents the cutting edge of what's possible in aerospace engineering. And with the next upgrade cycle already in motion, this engine might just be getting started. The F-135 is literally the force behind the F-35's game-changing capabilities. This engine slaps harder than any other fighter power plant out there. No cap. And that's not just hype. The numbers and real-world performance back it up. If you're looking to understand what makes modern fighters tick, you start with the engine. And the F-135 is the gold standard that everyone else is trying to catch up to. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the F-135 engine, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated on more videos like this. Now that we just saw how the F-135 engine is the beating heart of the F-35, but what if we told you that behind all the speed, stealth, and cutting-edge tech, there's a darker side to this jet? Hidden costs, questionable performance, and secrets that most people never hear about. Buckle up, because what comes next might just change how you see the F-35 forever.